Okay, so we are live, and I have another G.I. Joe Classified Series unboxing, and this is Desert Commando Snake Eyes. I'm going to turn on this light. There we go. No Batman animated series for today because it's storming out. I can hear thunder and lightning, and I do not want this to be interrupted by the power going out. So with this one, at least, I should still be able to power this lamp, and I'm shooting this on my phone, so it should be good as far as an unboxing video goes. One way or another, I'll power through this one. But this figure is a little on the controversial side, actually. I'm trying to get this positioned in such a way where I don't know, just kind of off center. It's weird. So there's a segment of the GI Joe fandom that just absolutely hates having all these extra variants of Snake Eyes, even though he's practically the main character at this point. They have made more figures of Snake Eyes than about anybody else except maybe Cobra Commander at this point. Although Snake Eyes might have overtaken him, I haven't counted recently. But last I checked, Cobra Commander was the one who had the most figures. So, and then there's people that complain that this is too different from how we usually see Snake Eyes because he's in tan. We don't usually see Snake Eyes in tan. So, you just can't please anybody. It's like you got Snake Eyes again. We got another Snake Eyes, and then other people be like, "Why are you doing Snake Eyes so different? Why isn't he in a black suit?" Because every single time he needs to be in a black suit. So got some nice artwork on here, and a nice photograph of the figure with some stuff going on in the background. Got a helicopter. And who's that sneaking around up there? That's a familiar looking figure, isn't it? So yeah. And this is number 92. Wow, they've made so many of these things already. And on the back here, we get a picture of the figure and a layout of all of his equipment. And we also have a layout of the equipment on the front here. So, and then the QR code on the side, which of course, since I'm shooting this on my phone, I can't really do that right now. So, anyway, if I can find what happened to my X-Acto knife, which just keeps running off lately. I never can keep that thing in a consistent spot anymore. Here's one. All right. So here we go. We'll go ahead and open him up. See what we got. So yeah, I just got him in the mail from Amazon today. And he's one that I'd pre-ordered a while back and paid for him with my gift cards, so he was practically free. So there's the figure, what he looks like inside of his little cardboard prison there. Then we got the little footlocker thing. Desert Commando Snake Eyes. So open that up. And we got these little paper envelopes in here. Now let's have a look at the accessories that are in the little envelope. So we have a really bent up sword. Thanks, guys. We got a bandolier with brown bandolier with some tan grenades on it. We got a sheath that's not quite as bent up as the sword. Got a tan Uzi with some nice paint applications on it. Make some of those details stand out a little bit more. We have a backpack. Let me see if the backpack opens up, because I think the last Snake Eyes backpack opened up. This one seemed like they glued it together. We have another sword that's not bent up, so that's good. And let's see. Then we have a knife with a curved handle. And we have a suppressor and this should fit onto the uh, the sidearm that we have here, and also onto the Uzi. And I believe that's it. I believe that's everything that is supposed to come in there. Wad that up and put it over here. So this Snake Eyes mainly reuses the parts from the first classified Snake Eyes figure, but it uses the head from the Commando Snake Eyes that came in the 2-pack with Timber. The first Snake Eyes in Timber 2-pack, not the second one that repainted most of this figure, but with the head that actually came on it originally. I was going to cut through these things, but they don't seem like they're actually tied. They're just kind of twisted around, those little paper ropes. So there we go. Oh, and if you want to get a look at the artwork as it looks in the insert, there it is. It's the same one that's on the package, but it's in black and white. Okay, so now that I got him out of the package, he don't look too bad. He is, not the usual colors that you see Snake Eyes in, but it's a desert version of Snake Eyes. So he's dressed a little bit differently. That's just to be expected, I guess. I was looking to see if maybe I had either of the Duke figures over here. It doesn't look like I do. But there was a Duke figure that they made back in the Valor versus Venom days, I think it was. And they had a Snake Eyes figure, and they colored it in tan and put a Duke head on it. I think it was called like Desert Paratrooper Duke was technically the name of it. But I was thinking that might be a nice, easy custom idea to do with this particular figure. So, but I'm going to have to get extra ones because I want to keep this one as is. I actually rather like this design. I think it's pretty interesting. So yeah, we're used to seeing Snake Eyes in black, but it's okay to see them in different colors for different environments. I think I might have gone more with like the color tan that's on his pants for like the whole suit, rather than this extremely light colored tan that is almost white. Makes him look a little reminiscent to Storm Shadow. Just a little. So let's go ahead and we'll put the bandolier on him. And there we go. So it's kind of weird to see like a 1985 inspired suit with a 1982 inspired head. But I think it still works. Maybe it would have worked better if they had done it in a different color scheme. Maybe they should have kept the visor head for this one, so it would be a little more recognizably Snake Eyes, and maybe for like a darker type of mission, maybe like a dark green for like a jungle outfit. Maybe they could have used this head. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But it's got some nice detail to it. It's got the Arashikage symbol in the middle of his web gear, so that's cool. And also on his belt, that's stuff that carries over from the first release of this mold. And since we got the Uzi in his hand, before I do anything else with it, let me put the suppressor on the Uzi so you can see how that looks. How about that? And then let's go ahead and put it onto the sidearm. Now, these are all accessories that have come with various Snake Eyes figures before, for the most part. So if you've got these accessories already, you know pretty much what to expect. It's just those same accessories, but now they're in different colors. And he holds on to them pretty well, except for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time getting his finger through the trigger guard. This pistol does seem a little more rubbery than I'm used to. And it looks kind of like a smaller sort of Desert Eagle. It's got that sort of swoop to the front of the trigger guard like you're used to a Desert Eagle having. So go ahead and put on his backpack. And see how well the backpack fits in, and it just fell right out. So this is web gear that's on him that's like not intended to be removed. And in fact, the figure just, oh, there's that batarang that I was looking for earlier. It So it's not like it wouldn't even look right if you took it off. It's sculpted to have this web gear on, like the collar is part of the web gear. And it was a little bit of a struggle getting the backpack on, but now that I got it on, it seems to want to stay in. Seems to, for now. Uh, so yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to take the pistol out of his hand and we're going to put it into his holster and put the suppressor in there. Everything fits into its place. There we go. And let's go ahead and put this knife in his hand. See how he looks with the knife. And it's kind of a loose grip on the knife, not as tight as I would like. I don't think they make these knife handles big enough to fit into the character's hands. I think they make them big enough so they look realistic with the figures, but they don't really hold on to them as well as I like. And unlike the first classified one, this one, the knife goes in there better since they've retooled this on previous figures. So there we go. We got all those accessories put away. Now let's have a look at these swords. So this sword, this is just pathetic. Like previously with this particular sword, which I've gotten in the 2-pack with Timber. The one with the visor, snake eyes, and the white version of Timber. They had like a little cardboard sleeve over it to keep it from doing exactly this. But I guess Hasbro decided that was too expensive. So I'm just going to have to fix this myself. I don't generally like to use the hairdryer while I'm doing the show because of the sound. But I just can't let this stand anymore. This is something like Hasbro should be ashamed of themselves that they let that happen. So, okay, now that it's warmed up and it's kind of flooby, I can straighten it out some. I'm going to press it on the table here, and hopefully the table will help cool it down a little bit and also help me keep it straight as I try to flatten it out some. I can fix it. It's not a worry about whether I can fix it or not. See, look, it's almost completely straight now. But the point is, I shouldn't have to fix it. This shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. Hasbro ought to be ashamed of themselves that they let this happen. So that they could save maybe a third of a cent on a case of figures. They decided not to do the cardboard thing. And that resulted in me having a warped sword. Now imagine being a kid opening this up and wondering what you're supposed to do about this warped sword. He ain't going to know to use a hairdryer on it. If, kids still played with action figures. So, so there we go. I'm going to put it in the sheath and leave it in there. I'm not even going to pose them with the sword because I just want it to straighten out. So I'm just going to peg it into the backpack there. And of course, that peg is large enough that you can also peg the sword sheath directly into the figure, which I probably will do eventually. I usually wind up doing that with the sword sheaths anyway, because the backpacks generally don't stay on the classified figures as well as I would like. So, but we do have this other sword that we can put on him. And I don't see anywhere that this other sword is supposed to have some storage. I think it's just an extra accessory that they had lying around. This might have come with the blue ninjas or something. I don't know because I didn't open those. I don't have any blue ninjas yet. But I like it. It's one of those kind of more modern looking ninja swords. Doesn't have a hand guard on it. Whatever you call the thing at the top, I would think of it as a hand guard. But yeah, I don't know if there's really a place where you're there's not a slot to put it in. There's not an extra sheath. This is all reused web gear and everything. So there's not a bespoke place to put this. It doesn't seem to want to fit in between the bandolier. Maybe if I put it underneath the backpack. You can kind of put it underneath the backpack, but I don't think it would stay on there very well, at least not while somebody like a kid would be playing with it. Maybe try to fit it in between the belt. Maybe kind of like how the Renegades Snake Eyes figure had the sword on his belt. So, but I think for now I'm just gonna have him posed as holding this sword, and I'll keep the 85 sword in the sheath on the backpack, and he'll just be displayed with this one. Of course, now he doesn't want to seem to hold on to it very well. You might have to like twist it and get it at just the right angle where like his hand will grip onto it, because that seems to be what the issue is with it now. Because I don't know, I did have it in there pretty good before. It was staying in there pretty well, but now it seems a little loose. Anyway, so this is one of those figures that, like, yeah, I'd recommend it, but it's more of a niche sort of figure. Like, I think this would be really good for custom fodder, actually. Like, you could, obviously repaint it to be different versions of Snake Eyes, and you could do that Duke that I was talking about. He'd be like a good base for any sort of like desert character. Like, if you wanted to do like, what was the character that they made for the Rise of Cobra? Like, he rode the Desert Ram that was originally a Target exclusive, but wound up becoming a Ross Dress for Less exclusive. And you know the guy I'm talking about. He'd make a good base for that, I think. Like, if you could get like an extra beachhead head for him or something like that. Repaint that to be brown. So, but yeah, he's got like a little insignia over here on the side. I just noticed. I think it might be like a wolf or something, but I'm having a hard time seeing what it is. I like it. It's pretty cool. So like I said, it's a good figure, but it's definitely like a niche figure that, like, I think like he's not necessarily somebody that like everybody is going to want to have in their collection. Completists, obviously, that want to have everything are going to want to have them in their collection. But I think like there's going to be a big chunk of Joe fans that are going to look at this guy and say, pass. Which is too bad, because it's actually a pretty good figure for like a repaint. It's a solid repaint, I think. But I think that the main people who are going to want this are people who are customizers who look at this guy and say, hey, there's a lot of good fodder here. Or people who just Snake Eyes is their favorite character and they just can't get enough of Snake Eyes and really like the idea of having him for different environments. And where the hell's my Arctic Snake Eyes? Do one based on G.I. Joe #2. That would be awesome. I think everybody actually would really like that one. And then, people who just like desert figures and would just want another guy for their desert patrol. And like I said, you could easily take this character and swap out the head and give him whatever kind of weapons you want and make like, some standard desert troopers. Maybe once we've got those Steel Brigade heads coming in at like, to where they're like really common, maybe like buy a few of these guys and slap a few Steel Brigade heads on them. And then you've got some Desert Steel Brigade. So I do recommend him, but I realize that while I'm recommending him, he's not going to be a figure for everybody. So my recommendation is, if you've seen me talking about this guy and you think to yourself, yeah, he does seem like he's pretty cool, then definitely go ahead and pick him up. If listening to me drone on about him for like almost 20 minutes hasn't convinced you that this is a figure you need to have in your collection, you probably don't need to have him in your collection. And that is the story of Desert Commando Snake Eyes. So if you enjoyed this video and you want more, make sure you like and subscribe and all the other fun YouTube stuff down below. Click the little bell if you don't want to know when I'm going live. I've been doing watch-alongs of Batman the Animated Series along with my action figure unboxings. I think I've actually done more Batman lately because I've done a Batman almost every single day this week. And it seems like the storms died down, so I might wind up doing another Batman anyway. So, but that's pretty much it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.